opening of the Dow Jones in 6 minutes. And a lot can happen at the top and the bottom of the hour. And of course, the news came out earlier. It wasn't as vicious as the news that came out before on the euro. It took us up 400 pips. So I was keeping the grid here set at X amount of pips. Right now, this is like looking at maybe 300 pips. And I was queuing the ask prices across 2 panels here so I can get a view of I guess like a synthetic view of the dollar, because I'm looking at these guys queued in this about 300 pips on the screen. So when the cash market opens here in 5 minutes, the markets usually come unwrapped in one direction or the other, and we start to spike up and down. So I placed limits on the outer bounds, on the unfair values above and below. So I'm just waiting for the, it's kind of like setting at bear traps, several bear traps, and walking away, coming back with a bunch of bears, you know. So this is the approach of limits only and no stops. So the stops I could do if I was on, say, the smaller time frame. I guess I'd put a buy stop here at this, but I'm actually trading the failure of this breakout. So if the market can make it to the 100-yard line and then pull back, say, 30 pips, so it's got actually looking for it to jump about 40 here and pull back like 20. So this would be the 50%, but I'm setting the trap in advance of that. And some of this stuff lasts for like 4 hours, I think, max. 4 hours on these orders way up in the nosebleed section. But if I put these on the 4-hour setting and look at the current, I guess I had too many orders in to get to the properties here. Yeah. So, oh yeah, by the way, some guy posted this thing saying that I guess I was talking about the person in the video, and he said, you know, you're really sound like you're sleeping. Well, you know, after chasing markets for years, you know, you get a little laid back, I suppose. I don't know. I mean, I've gone off on rants where people say, you know, you're crazy. So right, you can never please anybody. I guess is the old saying, old adage over here. The 4-hour world of the British pound compared to the 4-hour world of the euro dollar on a pip per pip basis, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If you queue these up and you look at that, that this is the retracement trader's dream. This is more of a real auction move than this explosion. Before that happened, it was somewhere like this. These guys were pip for pip, nearly the same price, and then kablamo, it takes off there. Well, the last stop hunt on this, if you look at the weekly, it's so bizarre to see that they just basically went down and took it right to this 1 pip here. So if you go to the weekly and mark off this low, and then go to the 4-hour time frame, and there you go. They actually took it lower after the initial news came out, and then when they finally had to really rip this apart, they took about a dip of looks like about well, this is 50 pips. It's about a 25 pip dip, and then they just ripped that puppy up. And gosh, you know, a real trap here. I mean, certainly this was down, a big wedge. At some moment, we were going to have to take this out and go up. And if you were to put your support, your downtrend line on the inside valley of this top, to say this top, and see that every time the vacuum could come and form all the way back to here again was from a stop entry standpoint. On a 4-hour chart, once you break this, you know, and you clear that 100, of course the sellers came in because you always have a vacuum forming underneath every time this market moves into an extreme manner. So I'm looking for one more punch up today, and I'll be selling up in this top as it climaxes up into this thing. So I'm also running this this demo account, trying really hard not to blow it up. It's not exactly working out. It took a little punishment here, but this is a pure limit orientated system here where if you want to buy, you're forced to buy not at the market but just slightly below. So if I thought the New Zealand dollar was going to do one of these things, now this is why trading automated or trading pre-planned spike arresters like this, where you're just literally buying everything from here all the way to here, and you're just buying it, buy, and you may get stopped out of these first bank, but imagine this is 100K and you only fill on 80K, and you're stopped out at 20K. So I mean, I'm talking about canvassing an area with so many orders that you can't even, the screen's just a mess. And then when this thing makes, if every order is written with the same ratios, that means that the fill here got out, say here or here, and that was your stop. I'm talking about just, and then of course by here, just ensure bottoms become tops. Everybody's going to get out here from a move like this. I mean, most rational people that want a high probability of grabbing all these stops and smashing it back up, just like this wick. And New Zealand dollar is really good for that, especially if you really want to see about 100 pips in like a millisecond. Go to the euro versus the New Zealand dollar, and you'll see psycho moves. Of course, spread's a little wider, and then all the quiet 10 pip stop entries are filling here. So the stop entries should last maybe at max maybe 2 hours, because if you're looking to make a move that's see here what's dropping, like here comes the plunge, half hour. So every half hour the robot or you are putting in these buy stops, and here you get filled just by default. This is just mechanical trading. Forget the stop. You've already chosen that the stop's either going to be 10 or 20 pips. You can't be getting out a pip calculator, and then you have to decide that all up front. I'd say definitely risk 10 to make 15. So even the buy stop filled here was getting out here, and the stop was just naturally here because and it didn't have to be a trailing. You would move it to break even. I mean, that's, I guess you could have a robot come behind you, move stuff to break even, but you know, the problem with some of that is that through the, if you're running so many orders, this would be like offering people like if you had say you had a store and you signed up with some credit company, and they said, oh well, we can give you 6-month loans, we'll fund you, we'll back your products. You know, it's a double-edged sword. So you know, the problem there is having to manage that, do the bookkeeping on that. So you're not going to go grab a tiny order of 1K and move it up. Maybe the robot's doing that for you, something like that. And so this thing, I had this to 100,000. I started, I think, with about 97, dipped down. So I'm at 10. I'm up 9 grand, but I honestly haven't been diligently pursuing this account here. And I chose the Canadian dollar because it's very spike-alicious. If you're running retracements, this is the place to go. Like here's one, 10 pips, 10 pip handles all the way down. Here's 5 pips. Oh, that's a single drop. Yeah, so this is I had the idea here of a 20 pip grid. It's just kind of a real non-linear pile of orders, but as long as the ratios in here make sense. Okay, now it looks like it's taking off, so I'm going to get in at on a stop. This is my only stop entry, and I'm going to do the same thing on here, so it's kind of a hedge. So if I go along New Zealand and go along the okay, looks like pound's going up, and the euro's going up now. So if we put the euro, and I guess the stock market's been open for 5 minutes, so here we go. Now this I'm going to buy in pullbacks. Euro dollar. So this is like almost getting at the market here. This one is just getting in. Okay. So I'm gonna corner the market now. Buy stops and buy limits here. And just see what happens. Yeah, here's my orders coming in here on the so you can see the stops. If you just do it by price, okay, so here I'm at $109,000. So yeah, I guess I made $9,000 this week. Yeah, that's my big. Oh boy, here's filling now. Okay, so it's going long on something. Oh, New Zealand's making money. Another thing is when I get to like 10, 11 grand, I just get the hell out. You know, and if I made 2 grand in the next half hour, just get out. Let your profits run my ass. Come on, take my money. So I'm at 3,800 margin right now. And there's only usually one stampede here left in the market. One more price pulse up or down, and then you know. But these are scalps. This thing's already almost ready to get out. See. And there's my take profit. So pretty much just nothing but if they clean out these stops on the top side of this 5 minute and they do a blow off top here, I'll be selling as we smash into the upper prices. And I don't have any sells on this this account, unfortunately, to show the sell side. But there's New Zealand. It's cashing out. It's almost totally out. There's the last take profit. All right, now the euro dollar should follow suit. If the dollar is going to crash at the end of the week here, everybody should be up against it. And here's euro. It's got a few pips to go. And then bingo bango, you're out. So the and I would just be selling this when it goes up. So this is the 4-hour pound and the 4-hour euro dollar. I was trying to do a pip for pip view. So if I'm using this one script that's calibrated, say, for 40 pips deep, I'll look at this chart and immediately, because you don't want to have to break out a fib tool, because you're really worried about the actual how many pips deep your order is sitting and how long it's going to be there, so that if you wanted to capture this big trap of how they trap the bears here, and they got everybody to go short. And if you didn't get out after you made your 100 pips, if you're a stop entry here, guy, and you hold on to that and move your stop to break even, it's the most dumbest thing you could do. Because I mean, if you're up 100 pips and you had a 20 pip stop on that, you at least had to take something for that trade. And I can't imagine when they had these single ticket traders. Wow. I mean, it's just laziness. I saw this guy doing a trading thing, and he says, yeah, you know, move your stop to break even. Are you kidding me? Right? I mean, just God, you don't even want to have this, make this much money. I mean, if it's 10 pips stop on that, I mean, you just made 5 times your money. And now the other side of the story is that after this plunge, nothing lasts forever, and have the only fractal, the only kind of attempt of a breakout, the only breakout bull trap was that. And then it would just be placing buy stops on the top of this line and just getting an autofill here. And you don't have to have a stop back here. You can have a stop that's here, get stopped out of that one, but one of those is, you know, a scalp. You know, you can have I'll risk, you know, say 300 pips to make, or I'll risk 100 pips to make 200 pips. That order filled, but it's okay to get stopped out of a scalp trade. So as this comes down and it comes back up, I mean, they could have kicked it back here. You can't see inside this 4-hour chart, so if you got filled here and you had to stop here, and during this session it did come back, because I can't see on here whether it broke out that bar, so maybe it could have pulled back to here. So 20 pip stop on that, and you're riding this puppy. Of course, you definitely have to get out here, because this supposedly would be they're trapping all the people that think, oh, this is broke, oh, look at it go, and they're trapping them right now. And this thing's not really on a stampede like the euro, so this is still in the phase of accumulation or stabilization here. If this is going to continue up, this is certainly going to have to answer. And if you're trading two currency pairs like this, you're aware of the fact that if you miss this train, then this train hasn't left the station yet. And if you scrunch it down to look at the bigger picture, and you go to the daily, and you can see the just correlation between which one has the tensions released. And it's no longer under pressure. This is still under pressure, for it's still holding this slow meltdown, but there's so much money on both sides of that market. I can't really say. I'd say, yeah, technically, with the rule, it's in a downtrend, because the last low is lower here, and this is obviously down. But the same thing could be said for this guy. Downtrend, but you know, how long could they quietly, you know, it's like the soft landing, and this one went to the round handle again. So the Fibonacciist is just wasting his time, because if you're trying to make 100 pips, look for 100 pips on the chart. You don't look for a 618. I guess if you're Stapleton, you're looking for a 618, and then you're going to do backward engineer that. Like, it's so stupid. Like, the market isn't even that. The market doesn't have any sophistication to it like that. Look at this triple bang at the 100-yard line on the 4-hour chart. How queer is that? You know, I mean, that is simply stupid. And this whole thing here, this is a 4-hour, this is a daily chart. This is just complete, utter chop. It's just nothing but a like when you would repackage something, and they just keep repackaging that thing, and then finally somebody's like, oh, I'll take it. They take it all the way to that 100-yard line, you know, within 10 pips, and all the way back down, because don't forget, you have to go after this price, because this whole this is the auction theory, this is the cause for this effect and this effect, because when it got to here, forget about it, right? I mean, there is such a uncharted water there that needs to be charted, and then after they trap them all the way back to here, where everybody considered this to be the next support, right? It's this constant battle back and forth. Okay, so the euro's pulling back now, and I guess my demo account's taking a hit a little bit here. Let's see, as it got long on that euro, and I don't know if it cashed out for me. Oh yeah, I guess I made money there. So here, let me put this thing up. Can't seem to get it to fill my screen. Yeah. Stuck. Oh well. Oh, because I'm in this damn drawing mode. Anyways, here's my. So yeah, I'm up a few bucks now. Most of my margin's off the table though, so I kind of like psychologically let this ride, because or just about to get out the close all profits right now. This looks like it could pop the euro finally. So it's a real tense situation here on these sideways moves, and then there's a big decision made. So I might be getting filled on this. I'll put in buys for the Canadian to buy this possible. I'm going to buy that trap if they take it below here. So look how vicious this Canadian dollar trades on the half hour. Look at that thing. This is 5-minute explosion of 50 pips. It happens all the time. Okay, looks like a big smash here. There's probably news coming out at 10 o'clock on the crude oil and stuff. And this is going to be one of those spike ups into the ionosphere. And then I'm going to trade the rip back off the top. Kind of another ATM trade. I'm ready to get out of this thing right now, though. Like I said, when I get to, if I got another $300 here, just get out. Because the news, they'll bid this thing all over the map coming into the news. So I'm looking at this tick chart. All we got to do is crack about 20 pips up. Looks like it's not going to make it, so I just go flat there. And I got this buy limit sitting waiting to get filled on Canadians, so I'm going to go the other direction on that. And let this come smashing back into here. And that's my system there. The Technic. Yeah, so that's current. I'm just sitting flat waiting. But yeah, I can get this account up to 200 grand. There's no, you know, it's, you really have to just sit here and pull the trigger, you know, and lay these outrageous orders like where you're buying just I don't want to say randomly, but certainly without regard to any Fibonacci, just sheer canvassing an area like you would go into a neighborhood and go door to door selling stuff. And do you really know which house are you going to predict which house to go to based on the where it's placed in a Fibonacci sense? You know, I don't think you can really think like that. But here's 50 pips. This is just a psychotic order. That's 8 hours. I sent this stuff to somebody. Somebody asked me, and I sent him a whole bunch of I sent him this platform. This is a bottomless pit of stuff, and you can sit here and place orders that are just insane, like this, and walk away, because in the British pound here, if the market does one of these maneuvers, say, and you have enough, if you put, of course, there's definitely the Goldilocks factor. You need to put in just the right amount of orders that you know that you can afford, and then just have it play out through this swing here. For instance, it starts coming in here, and you're getting filled on these orders, and then as it comes back up, say you started buying here, and you're able to take this much heat because you have a 50 pip stop, say, on this order, and it gets out there. But there's also the buy stops you had stacking up as it's plunging. So those are your scalp trades. Then you have your every, say, time it drops 50 pips, you got a grid. So you had a grid overlaid like this, but it's sitting down here. So it's like all these orders are sitting down here in this. So when you press this button, say right here, you're short on stops, but you press that button because you know when this thing comes down, what's it going to typically do? It's gonna finagle around, then it's going to come up, and it's actually going to take out this thing and go beyond it by double of this. So this is double. You don't need 618. I mean, honestly, it's so hard on your brain, right? This is just double your money. Just remember the old double your money. But it's really scratch and win here, and people don't like that. People that like to analyze this stuff, they don't like that that you just laid a random order bank in there, walked away and made money. Look at this New Zealand screaming. Of course, this thing's cutting into the dailies here now, but this is a broker that plots Sunday night. The small bar is always Sunday. It's kind of nice. You can see Sunday on the daily here. So right out of the gate, Sunday breakout, there was like a bear trap here, and then ba-boom. And once New Zealand went through this, forgot about it, and that became support. And now sell limits up in here for the pullback to here, and maybe too late to jump on the bull train here. You have to go to the 1 minute chart for a place to board the train. Now here it would have been smacking against resistance at the 10-yard line, and it just keeps on banging on that, and eventually, boom. That's a nice quick and dirty, about 7 minutes. You just made about 50 pips. Who's not trading the 1 minute chart? Right? Look at that thing. Jesus. And here's the breakout for the people on the 1 hour on the 15-minute chart. That's their breakout. But hell, who wasn't hitting the buy stop key here and just let it pick you up on the 1 minutes? Or you had buy limits, right? You were laying in the psycho grid too. I just think you got to be getting in on stops, getting in on limits, and just be like, I guess you could have that on one key. In other words, it's putting in a stop, but it's also throwing a limit out in front. But as long as the ratios are designed for it to make money when it retraces, then holy, oh my God, you know. And this is the standoff breakout, and your sell stops wouldn't have got filled, so you're not even exposed to this move, and the limits aren't getting filled because there's no volatility. So the market's deciding how you're going to get in. So if you have a buy stop, pending here and a buy limit, yeah, you're going to get long, but if you have a buy stop here and a buy limit, you're not over committing to that side, and this would also be the pivot. So this is the sell stop is stacking up, and the sell limit is getting filled and stopped out. That's why you maybe want a separate key for all your stops. That's why I put my stops on one key. So when the market's doing this, I know to be putting in every minute, I'm putting in a buy stop, and then, you know, here I'm getting filled on something. And when I see this first 1 minute plunge, I'm already throwing in a script that buys every 10 pips for the next 50. So at least I captured this part of it. So you really since the market overshoots, you're putting in orders that'll probably never fill. So on the sell side here, here's a sell. I would just hand drop that. So here's my sells, and you just be like this, you know. Basically, that's how bad it is. And then you would look at the daily to see, oh, does that order make sense? Well, maybe stretch out this thing, freeze the properties, or fix the scale on this. Okay, the euro's going up now. So we're looking for this to go up, and put this right at the edge there, where you know everybody's got their stops, and people have stops here, and they have stops here. So you basically scale in, instead of catch a falling knife, this is like stop a helium balloon. And the, let's see, New Zealand, so you're looking for this to go up, which means Canadian will probably plunge, but I'm going to try to scalp that with this. So I'm looking for the market to plunge down about 40 pips and bounce 20. And I don't know, the euro looks like it's stalling out up there. But that's another thing these markets are notorious for, is taking it right to the edge, and then everybody's like, yeah. Like, if this market should spend any time pausing, it gets so nervous that it just goes ripping the other direction. And that's just how it is. You know, when you have a problem with using indicators and stuff, is that you think that the indicators are the market on some level, but they're too smoothed out to be as nasty as a real market. So here I missed my sell, but if I had a grid up here that was randomly thrown up here for a few pips, okay, so now I'm going to try to buy the if it pulls back to here. So I'm basically getting in on the whiplash. Okay, here we go. Finally, the euro looks like it's going to make it through the high of the week. So here we are, about to go up into possibly go up another 200, 100 pips or something insane. So this is where I'm going to be selling up into that, and I just have to put manual sells in here because I don't have the trusty. So all these orders you can place ahead of time, and you may not get filled for quite some time, but at least you're not losing any money. No fill, no exposure. But you're basically looking to place it right on the edge of the last known resistance. And I don't know, this has got a long way to go, so I'm going to put in more aggressive sells here that are just at the high of the day. Let's just stack a bunch up here every 10 pips. Yeah, this is possible. So yeah, just set it and forget it. I don't think it's gonna make it there now. I don't know. Looks like they had their fun with it. The British pound looks like it can make it here. It's breaking out. So I'll sell anything beyond the high of the day there for the scalp, and then I don't know. I think you'd have to look for the 1 minute to join that party. Look at the right. Okay, so this is about to take out the resistance, but typically it goes up comes back, and then it really goes up. And that's the big plan for today. Anyways. Yeah. That's the two currency pairs. And I'm running it in, I would say I'll go for the 5 minute at this time of day. I'm just looking for a scalp. I'm looking for 50 pips in 5 minutes, basically. It's my favorite trade because you don't have to spend too much time exposed to all the craziness here. So here I'm going to put in some more sells for an outlandish blow off top scalp. Alright, there's the 5 minute, top of the hour is coming, and maybe there's going to be an explosion because this is typically what you get when the crude oil comes out or whatever news is coming out. And, or this is consumer sentiment or something on a Friday, but yeah, who cares? Pretty boring stuff. Let's see if I get filled on the Canadian. So yeah, they filled me on this Canadian buy limit. And I don't think it's going to be a winning trade, but you have to stick to your system. Okay, so they just broke out the pound, and my Canadian's plunging. Here we go. So this is going to be my big scalp trade. I guess maybe it's Canadian news coming out. All right, wait. So that was that aggressive entry, but this market's insane. So, you know, it's the Canadian dollar. I don't know who trades this thing on a trend basis. Look at this. Look at the psychosis here. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, Euro looks like it's going to pop. If they crush this thing, now I got to think about taking something off the table here because I want to go flat there a little bit because we could still plunge now. So now it's super frisky. And I'll go for one more aggressive entry. So I'll go more, since I just went flat, I'm going to go super aggressive on a possible smash down and up, and then go the 1 minute. And I'm going to put one buy stop in here. And that's to take profit, just in case it does go zooming through the top here. I'll probably get out before it hits that target. Probably here. So that's another thing, is that if you didn't write the script to get out and to make 10 pips, this is kind of a looking to make 20. You're just going to have to get out and take what you can get, because you don't want to overload the wagon there. So as it goes up another 5 pips, I get out. But usually this is how you build up an account. You just keep taking the money they give you, and at this time of day things are just brutally fast. It's a fast money, you gotta grab it. See, they're probably gonna plunge it now. Yeah, so that's a 10, that's about 12 pip wick there in about 30 seconds or a minute. So that's pretty quick money. Here comes another plunge. So if it doesn't go lower, then that's nothing but a rest before a possible rally. But it looks like it's a foregone conclusion. They're going to try to take out the high of the week on the euro. Okay, so I have a sell here somehow. Oh yeah, so the sell that I got in, that was the drop that I did on New Zealand. So I got my first fill there on the sell side. But it looks like it's going to go up some more. So that was selling the high of the day, which if that goes, I'll lose money on the New Zealand going up, because that means the Canadian's going down more. So I should start losing now, because New Zealand is still short for quite a bit. Okay, here's where I'm going to go into some deeper orders, and I'll just load the wagon down there and put a whole iceberg down there. Still think this could go up, but New Zealand's getting killed here, down $12 right now. And the pound broke out this 10 pip window, and usually this is where they do the pullback after they trap people. There's a 5-minute euro going for the high of the day, high of the week. Looks like a vicious smash up. I gotta put some real orders in here. Okay. Waiting to get filled on this, on the blow off top here. Okay, back to this guy. So this is the moment of truth, and I don't have the perfect orders to place here right now because I didn't make a pre-programmed grid, so I'll just lay it in manually, and I'll just have to take whatever profits I can get, because these really should be scalp orders, small orders that have a scalp to it up there. Well, New Zealand's almost making money now, so there is such thing as the market losing its steam to any one direction. So that is the 1 minute New Zealand. And if you're doing it like this, you'd be like 10 pips, 40 pips. Sell up there. And that one you could go to sleep, right? I mean, if this thing drifted up, if this is the middle of the night right now, you could do that trade. Set it and forget it. Go to sleep, wake up with money in your account. That's the best way to go. The tough thing to do is to watch this thing make a move like this in 5 minutes. Now, earlier, just before the news came out, they bid it up and then they came all the way back, and this is the auction theory where they basically took it to unfair, took it back to fair, and then blew out that top. Okay, so these sells are working. It's not a ton of money, but I'll have to take profits in about 10 pips here if I get it. And the demo account here. There goes New Zealand right through the roof now. So that means Canadian's plunging. So Canadian comes into this order bank, and then all it has to do is retrace. But see how I'm getting hit now. Taking on some margin. And now I'm going to put in some more buy stops and buy limits. Try to scalp this thing. It's a demo account, so you got to have some fun here. That's going to buy that plunge. Yeah, so New Zealand's getting hit, but I got sells up there. So as long as you don't mind waiting for this to play out, and you don't mind losing about, I'm down about $200. Okay. So this is moments. Now they just went and they nicked this thing. So I put the buy stops in to trade the come back up. But this would be a little riskier trading than the typical, you fly by your seat your pants, and this is a demo account, so I like those disclaimers people put in their videos, like consult with your tax attorney or something before you trade the system. Okay, so it's down 200. I'm in a giant bit of margin right now. Now I'm in $6,000 of margin. I'm trying to make like another $1,000 here. I might have to go flat once I, because some of these orders are huge. So if you go for the profit thing here, and this is a big buy limit, so I have to get out of that. So I'm gonna basically get out of about $1,000 of margin there, and wait another 2 minutes. If we can come smashing up, I'll get out of that. So it all adds up. I mean, that's it's about getting the hell out. Now I have like very small exposure, but I was able to, I was down 200 and now I'm up 400 off of that. So I guess I took a little heat there, but that was, I could have never manually placed all those orders. There's like no way, there's no way. And now if I see any kind of profit here, I want to go flat almost. New Zealand is still underwater, so I'm in that New Zealand trade, and it looks like it could work out. It'll actually be in a slight bit of profit here if it can drop. So 1 minute chart, it looks like a wonderful fill on the 5 minute chart. You know, it looks like pure genius there. 1 minute chart's like, wow, why didn't I sell this top? So that's another thing. I'm actually in at a bad price there on that, but I can just close it here at break even, or just wait till it's up a couple pips and just hit the close all profitables. It's a very small position anyways, but just to clear the decks there, I would just wait till it's up something. Looks like you're not going to get it there, so we just lose $3.50. But so I'm totally out of that, because since I've got these sells above, it's really like I just went long anticipating this to go up here so I could sell it up there, so I could buy it down there. And yeah, I think once you give up to the fact that you're going to see, now look at, if I would have stayed in there, I kind of got a little bit better exit right now, but that's slicing a little thin. Okay, now this looks like a possible buy stop. So put one buy stop in there, and I don't know if I'll be able to make another $200 here, but Europe's going to close, so there could be one more either smash down into this giant order bank that I put down here. I mean, just immense amount of orders down here. Just really ridiculous. So if I turn the orders on, it's going to be, the volume is your orders. It would look like, I guess I'll just make it black. Okay, so I just went long on stops on the Canadian dollar here on the 1 minute chart. And I'm only looking to make 10 pips. If I can make another $100 here or something, just get the hell out. I see the euro failed to, not that it can't do it, but right now the euro's failing on its rally. So we're pulling back off of this. Hit the 50-yard line, dead on. So I'll get out of this thing if it's up like 15 pips. I've also got a possible short here. So that was just random sell limits there I put in. And just wait about 3 minutes. Scalp out of this thing. See the Canadian dollar CAD goes up 10 pips, I'll be out of that. Alright, just waiting for that 3 pips sell off here. Scalp this. it's kind of, I guess the week's over. Too much antics coming. Okay, looks like that's done. Coming back. Not a lot of money there. But yeah, the big money is going to be if we ever plunge and do a cycle retrace. So here I'm ready to get out of this damn thing already. Maybe make 50 bucks if I'm lucky here. So I got a couple stops and a couple limits, but I have this giant order bank waiting to get filled. This is definitely the white knuckle trade for if you put too many orders in there. Of course, on these demos, who cares, right? You can only lose your mind on a demo. You know, 1 minute chart's a little low risky. Okay, so you're just waiting for this thing to pop like 10 pips. I get the hell out. I guess I'll lose on. Another thing is this buy stop that's up here is a hand-placed buy stop, or it was placed by the computer. And I mean, when you hit a button, and the problem is that you don't want to get filled up there. This is probably where you want to sell. So if you have to go to price only and go hunting down this thing, another problem with trading these multiple currency pairs is you're going to try to hunt down all these garbage orders that last 4 hours, these buy stops, take them off. Because if this thing goes slamming back up, that's going to be the worst place to get in. It's bad enough that you're long here and you're underwater by, you know, quite a few pips there right now. Okay, so here's where I'm at, about to take profits on this one buy stop. This is the scalp, and I made that a big order, but I made it a tighter exit. So it's already presupposed that once it takes that out and gets out of this $950 a margin, then boom, I just ride out a smaller position. So I'm about to get out myself, and just about to bail. Okay, so I don't expect too much out of that. Okay, now I'm at $150 a margin, and I guess I could manually cut these out and just say, you know, I'm up $120, and I don't care. I just don't care what happens after this. I'll take my $8 loss. And then I have a key here that if you want to be able to go off to the bar now and brag about all your trading, you have a close all open and pendings and just wipe everything off the platform. And there you go. So yeah, I'm gonna try to pay attention to this account. This is the one that I had a demo hooked up to this before, and here I've got all these currencies. So this would be the order here, say, on the 1 minute chart, and here would be the scalp, say, here. And the euro failed to, it looks like they trapped people on that. So I'm scalping out of that, and that's it.